Ask the Author, a show about inspiring stories and conversations by creatives and all forms of art, music, movies, visual art, authors, creative writing, poetry, dance, culinary art, among others. Brought to you by the multi-award-winning author, life coach, and poet, Richard Mwebesa.
God reveals mysteries. As you grow in Him and you pray and fast, God reveals mysteries. Yeah? And He brings purpose in your life to grow up. So, I will ask a question. Maybe two random people, a boy and a girl. I'm seeing a young man here. What is your name, sir? Jordan. So, what have you always liked to do, Jordan? What do you admire to do?
To become a footballer.
A footballer. So you love football. So who do you believe is the best footballer in the world?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Nah, I believe Messi is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. You don't believe so? I've written about Messi. I have almost half a chapter in my first book. I'll give you one of the copies and then you'll learn about Messi as well. But yes, among others, that is one of the things that can begin to reveal purpose to you. A lady in a checkered shirt. Jordan, I have a gift for you of the poetry book. Coach Majo, you can just help me open and unfold and do the honors. Jordan will come and pick his book. Then we shall later autograph it.
Come on.
Jordan, good, Jordan. Give it up for Jordan. Give it
Jordan!
up. Aha. Awesome. Kongs, Jordan. Photo moment.
Jordan, you're not smiling.
Smile, come on. So, what have you always admired to be when you grow up?
News anchor.
Sorry?
A news anchor.
News anchor. Journalist.
Yes.
Awesome. Wow. Hey, Esther is getting a copy of the book as well.
Come on.
Awesome. Nice.
Journalist Esther.
Kongs, enjoy the poetry.
My closing remarks would be, whatever it is that you've ever dreamed of becoming is possible. I remember when I was a young girl, I still do admire, because every year we make what we call a vision board party. So we come together, we put our visions to life, we get pictures and of things that we want to achieve or things that we want to do. And it's also in the Bible, because in Habakkuk the Bible tells us, write the vision down. The same God who tells you, ask and it shall be given. He's asking you, what do you want? So whatever it is that you want to achieve, you write it down. When I was still in school, in my A level, we used to have these metallic suitcases. I know you people have not seen metallic suitcases. Have you? You don't? How do I take a metallic suitcase? So I used to have big metallic suitcases, and I remember writing on that suitcase. I got my paper. I wrote, I wanted the aggregates that I wanted to get in my senior 6, and I said I want to be on government sponsorship. I got my Colgate put behind and pinned it on my metallic suitcase. And guess what happened? When the results came back, I was in the newspapers and I was on government sponsorship. What does that mean? Thank you. Whatever it is that you've ever dreamed of becoming, and you know it's in different stages, because even now we have other bigger dreams, but whatever level you're at, whatever class, write down, what do you want to achieve? Maybe that term, maybe that year. Who do you want to be? Be intentional. Write it down. They've already told us the company that we keep. Get people that are going to help you be better, because we learn from the people that we hang around. But whatever it is that you want to achieve is definitely possible, and you've got what it takes. Thank you.
My parting shots are, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. What does that mean? That when God was forming you, you're the only person that is you, and there's no other person ever that will be in the world today, tomorrow, and forever. That will be you. Today, statistics tell us that the world population is about 8 billion plus. Yep. and 45 million Ugandans. Out of that, I would like to tell you that you are special, you are valued, you are important. Most times when people call me in the morning, I always say, when they say, hello, how are you? The first thing I tell them, I am inspired, motivated, and blessed. Those are the three words that come in my mouth. Why? Because confession is possession. So wherever you go, always confess positive. Speak to yourself. Why? Remember I told you about the mind. It's interesting. It always believes you and the words you tell yourself, and you tell it before the rest of the world tell you. Did you understand that? Yes? Why? Because when you begin telling yourself certain things, because the way the mind works, it rewards, remember what? What does it reward? Repetition. It rewards things that are in the comfort zone. When you practice certain words and tell yourself certain words on a daily basis, these words become familiar. And when they become familiar, they become you, because you are, as actually the Bible says clearly, that as man thinketh, so is he. Lastly, I'll leave you with a scripture. That's Proverbs chapter number 3 from verse 3. I love it. I've committed it to memory. It says that let love and faithfulness never depart from you. May you write it on the tablet of your heart and bind around your neck, so that you shall find favor and a good name before man and God. And it continues to say that in all the things that you do, lean not on your own understanding. In all things acknowledge God, and he will make your path straight. Other versions of the Bible say, and he will direct. I love the word direct. He will direct your path. So put God first. Yeah, I know you may be in school and people say, okay, people who are born again or people who are not cool. Who says, am I not a cool pastor? Come on. Am I not a cool pastor? Yeah. So we born again are cool because we're washed by the blood. Yes? Filled by the Holy Spirit. Inspired to transform the world. To become life changers, game changers, and life transformers. We are the salt of the world and we are the light of the world. Please never believe anyone who tells you anything less than that. I implore you and I pray for you and I plead with you, never ever believe anyone who tells you that you're less and that you're not important, because you're valued. You are special. You are a jewel. Unspeakable. Because God says so. And God does not lie. Hello, he says in Numbers that, am I a man that I shall lie? Shall I say and not do? God does not lie. You are amazing and you're beautiful. All the men here are handsome, the young men. All the girls here are beautiful. Let no one ever tell you anything less than that.
Wow. The Bible also says, let them that have ears do it. Thank you so much, Richard and Marjorie. Wow. My standard thought is about purpose. We're continually on a journey of self-discovery, and it's never one thing. You can, attest for yourselves. There are many things. Richard is a pastor, he's a poet, he's an author, and many other things. Coach Marjorie as well. She's a financial literacy coach. She's a speaker, event host, among as many things. Yeah. So as you continue on this journey of discovery, as you begin this journey of discovery, God has input many things within you. So it's about you spending time with Him and discover them and let them on, as you've had. I also pick from their lives that you need to be a reader. They've been telling us about books they read, but also books they've written. So, yeah, let them that have ears do it. Very well. I'm going to open it up to us to ask questions.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Chitimbo Alison Faith. Of course, the question, I am not a teenager. I'm in my early 20s and I'm from Islamic University in Uganda. I'm doing law. Yes. So, yes, of course, the questions are to you, our dear guests. It's just that the other guest isn't with us today, but I love seizing opportunities, and I happen to notice that you're all writers. That means you're good readers. Sorry. I am someone that loves reading. I love reading. I love poetry. I hunger for things like philosophy, literature. Those are the things that I've always known, and I wish I met you sooner when I was like in my teen age. Yes, so I have so many questions, but I'm going to try to save time and maybe just ask like two. Yes. One of the books you've written, I assume one of them is autobiography or biography. Am I right? Like, yes. So that means there's some experience that is like there in the book. When do you know? Because I write a lot. I write so many things, and I think every day is a chance to create a new story. Now, like today, this is a lot. From the beginning of how I stepped in here, how I prepared in the morning, and how we are going to live. Each and every aspect, the color of your shoes is going to be in everything that I'm writing today. So, there's so many things that have gone on in my family, in my life, so many aspects, so many experiences. They're all written down, and of course, I have no doubt about what I want to be. Of course, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a writer, a speaker, all those things. I have no doubt. I believe in my strength. So the things that make me anxious about the journeys that I'm going through is that, especially with writing, because one day it's just not speaking to me right now that I should put out a book out there or something, but one day it will. And for me, what I would want to start with is something that is an autobiography, something that I've written, and of course the people that are in my life, I'd want them to be included there, their names and everything. Don't you ever worry about what they would think about your book when they read their names and the experiences you've had with them in the book? Don't you ever think that, oh, okay, what if I offend this person? Maybe I shouldn't write this there, but it has to be there because it's my life and I want it to be there. It's part of my experience. It's what's made me who I am today. So I wonder if you ever worry about that. And if you do you ever think of, I don't know, replacing it? Because I wouldn't want to replace the names or anything. So yes. Then the second question would be, you love poetry and all that. So that I think one of the biggest questions I have in my life is, there's this poem that I read by Rumi. He's a Russian poet. And I stuck to the last part where it's like, what are we to do in life other than have passion for, is it useless things? Something like that was passion for things that you run to. But what I got is that at the end of the day, you're going to go back to the ground. So in my head, I'm like, yes, like we are supposed to be here, be great, understand who we are, discover who we are, move this journey with ourselves, meet people, experiences, create lives and all that. But at the end of the day, we're going to die. And, you know, there's nothing, of course we're going to leave a legacy if we choose to deem it so, but then we're just going, it's one of the biggest things. I don't know if you're getting my question, but it's one of the biggest things I'm still trying to understand, because we're going to do all these things, and yes, we want to be recognized and seen, but we're going to die. So.
All right, thank you so much. Definitely the poet will take the last question, and also we are honored to have him here because he's not just an international author, but also a judge, an international judge for books and all everything when it comes to authoring or writing books. So I know he'll answer both of the questions deeply, but briefly on the first question, we all have a story, we all have a journey, and it's different. But when it comes to writing books and writing our life experiences, I wrote most of them in my book. If you are to include someone else in the book, I think it would be wise to seek consent if you can. If you can't, you can share the story without mentioning someone's name, because you don't want your book to be out there and it's maybe offensive, or you're even sued. The beauty is you're a lawyer, so you know what comes with people's rights and all those things. So I think you can still share the story without disclosing the person. That's why you've seen that in so many books. Someone says, oh, a friend of mine, or maybe one time this and this happened, without necessarily mentioning the name. And also, very important, what he told us to seek, what the Holy Spirit gives of discernment. That you all have a story, and we need to be authentic, but we need the discernment to know what to share, when, and with whom. Yeah, so that's all I would say. But I know he's going to...
Another question. Faith, right? Hey, now I will tell you, as poets, the number of poetic devices we use to communicate. And Rumi, the poet, I think used metaphor. I'll start by giving you a quote. There's a quote that I think was penned by Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther, the bishop, yeah, who anchored the movement for the Protestant church, the Anglican. I think he said, and I quote, that even if tomorrow was coming to an end, I would plant a tree. What does that mean? As much as Rumi looked at it from a perspective that Solomon also did in Ecclesiastes, where he says that all things done, said and done, everything is vanity. Yeah? But I'll give you the context and say it can be a bit misleading if you look at life that way. Yeah? And do not meet your purpose, because I always say purpose is an act of worship to God. Because God put you here for a reason, and the reason you're still alive is because He wants you to discover that purpose and you meet the value for which you are made, because something that is not valuable is forgotten, and if it's forgotten, it becomes oblivious, and oblivion is in the space of death or without life. So I would say, as much as that would be, still plant that tree even if you knew the tomorrow would end. Hope I'm making sense. I'm speaking as a poet, metaphorically. But to give you a bit of context, I always say, you said you're a lawyer and you have passion for writing. You are already a writer. I can already see your purpose, because you journal. And journaling is one of those things that enables you move. There are 3 gifts I can tell from what you're saying. Number 1, you have a good eye. You're an observer, because people who journal are observers. You say the detail from the shoes, so you have a high level of attention to detail. So you have the gift of observation. Number 2, you have a gift of structure. I can tell from the way you're asking your questions. Structure is about sequence, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You didn't say 1 and then you jump to 5 and came back to 2. No, I see the structure. That alone qualifies you to be an author. Then on the subject of writing and you being a lawyer, don't worry about what people will say, because one of the key things that hinders people to write is that I'll be judged too. They do not want to feel vulnerable by telling people your inner secrets, your innermost you. Why? Let me bring a bit of philosophy. I love philosophy as well. We are created by God. How many of us know that Jesus Christ was a philosopher? Hello? Yes, He was a philosopher. He was. That's why He spoke in parables. How many of us know that Jesus Christ was a poet? Yes, He spoke parables, and these parables were poetic. There are about 7 devices I can say in the work He did. He used metaphor, of course, in the parables. He used elegy and a number of other devices. I don't want to go into. But coming to philosophy, we are created by God to be human beings. We are not human doings. So, you are not what you do. You are what you become. Why? Because human beings become. Human beings don't be do. You're not defined by the law degree. The law degree could be your career. And trust me, most of the profound writers, I write about Leonardo da Vinci as a specialist generalist. Yeah? People who are what you'd call polymaths. Yeah? Or people who are gifted diversely. People like Joseph were gifted by God diversely. They did not just only do administration and management, they also did finance. If you look backwards with hindsight, he was also a prophet, he was also a seer, and a person who interpreted visions. He was also a planner. Yeah. So God in the journey of purpose doesn't make you one thing. He gives you diversity. Why? Because diversity in the rainbow color, the 7 colors of the rainbow. The rainbow would be boring if it had one color. Do you agree? But because it has 7, it looks beautiful and pretty. It has indigo, it has violet, it has many other color, blue I think, and the others in there. So you can be that shining rainbow. Yeah. As long as you self-discover. And self-discovery is one of also the tools used in purpose. Yeah? Because as you mature and as you grow, you realize that you become. Every day is about becoming. Yes? I say in the book as I wrap up on this, that who we are is defined by keys. I call them keys in the book. And those keys are questions. The first question is, who am I? Yeah? Which denotes your purpose. Why am I here? Who am I is your identity, sorry. Then why am I here is your purpose. Then the last key is, where am I headed? Where am I headed is your choices or decisions that you make on a single day. Yeah? Ultimately, you are who you decide to be on a single day. Every single day, the choices you're making today will determine your future and your tomorrow. I am a writer today because in my early childhood, things that were artistic made sense to me. Things like music, things like acting, things like drama, all those things that are art just made sense to me. Yeah? Writing, I got exposure to writing first by writing music. In my past life, I used to be a lead vocalist and writer for music. Yes, true story. As a rapper. So the poetry came from rap, verse, yeah, and rhyme. True story. It did. So I realized now with hindsight, connecting the dots backwards, that me into music in my earlier when I was in school, in my secondary school, actually first my primary school, I was an artist, a painter. In my primary 5, there was a national competition for wildlife. Yeah, and actually people didn't show up. That's the first time I ever knew I was actually a painter, an artist. The patron or the club captain or teacher of a wildlife club came and said there's a van that has come to take people and they are going to paint a chimpanzee. I grew up in Entebbe, I was in Lake Victoria Primary School. So I was just there, happenstance. Okay, I would say maybe it was never a coincidence. It was written by God in the purpose. And I was not part of the wildlife club. And he said, anyone who wants to go? I said, why not? Go. Who wouldn't enjoy a ride? So I hopped on, and they took us into Entebbe Secondary School, and we began. They gave us crayons and what do you call pencils, and then we began drawing a chimpanzee. 2-3 months after, one of my friends, I remember her well. She's called Margaret. She says, Richard, I saw your name in the newspapers. That's the first time I ever appeared in the newspapers. And I was like, how? What happened? That you won a competition, a national competition for wildlife. I never knew I could paint. Trust me, I never knew. True story. And guess what? A special assembly was made in school. The headmaster at that time was called Mr. Musisi. He made a special assembly and called me from class. And the first time I ever heard the words from him that you have put our school on the map was because of that. And the gift was a box of crayons and placards for me to practice art. That's the first. And see, God brings purpose in your life. Sometimes it may appear coincidentally or accidentally. But when you begin to look backwards, you realize it was never a coincidence. When I grew up, I dropped the love for art. I still love art. It makes sense to me. I love artists. I love painting. If you came to my home, you'd see a lot of art and paintings in my home. Anyhow, growing then in secondary school, I joined a group called The Boys. So I began writing music and becoming a lead vocalist and lyricist. Now, I did know that lyricism and writing rap and verse would later grow and mature into being a national curriculum poet. Am I making sense, Faith? Yeah? Please be encouraged. Don't stop journaling. Yeah? When you keep rising and growing, you realize those stories are what will become anecdotes. I will not mention the person I'm coaching here. There's a writer I'm coaching, an international writer. as well. I'll not mention who that person is, yeah, for confidentiality reasons. I'm quoting someone. But one of the key things I've always told her, look back into your own life, those stories which provide the last C. I always told her the first C is everyone has content. Because they can't write anything because, hey, I woke up in the morning, okay, I went, I was in the mirror, I did this, and then so what? Now the so what is the context. The context is the why, or what we call the because of me writing. Your audience needs to know that, okay, I woke up, I dressed up, then there's something I think I did, so I learned something, and maybe I committed to executing something, and I was consistent. So they say I am a person who's disciplined. So discipline in there is the value. But remember, the discipline is unfolding the things you say you did. Am I making sense? Faith. Lastly, the hardest part for writers is connection. Telling the story and someone says, wow, you write a page turner. And when someone gets your book, they do not want to leave it. Have you ever watched a movie and you're like, hey, what happens next? Yeah. In the artist, I've also done acting in my life. I was in my university as part of the creative and performing arts. I have always loved art. Anything artistic made sense to me, be it acting, be it music, be what. So one time, my patron called me Sakimani. He was the head of the arts and performing arts. When The Last King of Scotland came in Uganda, the movie, he was part of the casting agency, CSA, for costumes. So I went to him, I told him, I've had the CSA crew needs you. So he wrote a note for me. I went to Lugogo, and then I was profiled, and then I appeared in the movie The Last King of Scotland as an extra. Am I making sense, Faith? So, guess who? Right now, I'm a general manager, business development for the leading insurance company in East and Central Africa. That's the job I do, but that's not who I am. Am I making sense? So, remember, I'm trying to give you context to weave the analogy of we become. We are human beings and not human doings. We are not what we do. Who we are is broader than just our careers or the things that we do. Have I made sense? We can have an offline. I don't want to oversound philosophical, but I hope I've added 2 cents to your question.
Thank you so much, and I did connect with you. How do we reach you?
Okay, the beauty with this generation, we have what we call social media. Do we have social media? Do we have phones? I saw some people have phones here. The older people. On social media, it is my name's Marjorie Nantambi on all platforms. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. We share some of these tips, even the money tips there. I love talking about money because it's actually good for you to start early. With that pocket money, how are you saving it and things like that. That's a topic for another day, definitely. But you can also reach out to me. I can share my number, 0774 512359. But in case you didn't get it, you can always talk to Coach Sharon. We call her Coach Misha, and she will gladly share that contact. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Marjorie.
Yes, I am on social media. I believe, who has the WhatsApp? Those with phones, WhatsApp? Who is on Facebook? Oh, you're not permitted yet. Okay. But you have access to email at least, right? Email is okay, right? Who has an email? All of you have emails. Okay. So my email is richardmwebesa707@gmail.com. richardmwebesa707@gmail.com. 707 are numbers. Then you can also get me on my mobile phone, which is on WhatsApp, which is 0776 712962. I see.